The day the wedding invitation arrived, it felt heavier than paper, heavier than ink. It felt like a challenge thrown at the world itself. Two names printed side by side, born in different countries, raised under different skies, carrying different accents, different histories, different fears. For many, it was just an invitation. For them, it was proof that love had already survived storms long before vows were spoken. From the very first moment their paths crossed, this was never going to be an easy love story, but it was destined to be a powerful one. Before the story goes deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and love that rises above hate and borders, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. They met in the most ordinary way, the kind of meeting people usually forget. A crowded city, unfamiliar streets, the quiet loneliness that comes with starting life far from home. He had come chasing opportunity, carrying dreams stitched together by sacrifice and distance. She had grown up believing the world was big but safe, full of rules that made sense as long as you stayed within them. When their eyes met for the first time, there was no dramatic music, no sudden realization, just a strange pause, as if life itself had taken a breath. What began as casual conversations slowly turned into long walks, shared silences, and laughter that felt easy and unforced. They discovered each other through stories rather than promises. He spoke of a home where traditions were sacred and expectations heavy. She spoke of freedom, choices, and a life where love was meant to be simple. At first, these differences felt exciting, like windows into another world. But excitement slowly gave way to fear when reality began to knock. The first challenge was not society or family, it was doubt. Doubt whispered late at night, asking whether love alone could bridge such a wide gap. Different cultures meant different values, different ways of expressing emotions, different definitions of responsibility. There were moments when misunderstandings felt sharper than any argument. Silence would stretch between them, heavy with things they didn't know how to say without hurting each other. Then came the world's voice, louder and crueler than doubt. Friends warned her with concern disguised as care. Relatives questioned his intentions with suspicion masked as tradition. People spoke about visas, passports, and intentions, as if love was a transaction that needed approval. Every smile they shared felt like quiet rebellion. Every step forward felt like walking against a strong wind. Distance tested them next. Not emotional distance, but physical separation enforced by paperwork and borders. Days turned into months of waiting, checking messages, counting time zones, living between calls and missed connections. Airports became places of both hope and heartbreak. Goodbyes were short but painful, always followed by the question of when they would meet again. In those moments, love stopped being a feeling and became a choice made daily. Family pressure grew heavier as the idea of marriage became real. He faced the weight of expectations passed down through generations. Questions about identity, culture, and belonging surrounded him from all sides. She faced a different kind of storm, quieter but just as painful, where disappointment hid behind polite smiles. Both were asked again and again to explain their love as if it were a decision made lightly. There were moments when giving up seemed easier. Moments when exhaustion made the future feel too complicated to imagine. They argued not because they didn't love each other, but because they loved each other deeply and were terrified of losing everything else. Tears were shed in private, far from judgmental eyes. But something kept pulling them back together. Something stronger than fear. It was the understanding that despite all the noise, their hearts felt calm only when they were together. Slowly, things began to change. Not overnight, not dramatically, but quietly. Small acts of respect softened hardened opinions. Patience replaced anger. Conversations replaced assumptions. Family saw not a foreigner or an outsider, but someone who genuinely cared. Someone who showed up, learned, listened, and tried. Love didn't erase differences, it honored them. The wedding day arrived without fanfare from the world, but with deep meaning for those who understood the journey. It wasn't a perfect ceremony. There were nervous smiles, emotional eyes, and lingering worries. But there was also something rare and beautiful in the air, a sense that this was not just a union of two people but a victory over fear. As they stood together, the world didn't suddenly become kind. Borders didn't disappear, prejudices didn't vanish. But something inside them changed forever. They no longer felt alone in the fight. Marriage did not solve all problems, but it gave them strength to face them side by side. Life after marriage brought new challenges, adjusting to shared routines, blending traditions, facing new forms of judgment. But now, love had roots. When days were hard, they remembered the nights they survived apart. When misunderstandings arose, they remembered the silence they once feared losing each other to. Gratitude replaced entitlement. Partnership replaced expectation. Over time, their story became something people whispered about with a mix of surprise and respect. Some who once doubted now quietly admired. Others found courage in their example. Their marriage became proof that love does not need permission from borders, languages, or stereotypes. It only needs honesty, patience, and the courage to stay when leaving feels easier. Just before this story ends, take a moment and comment below where you're watching from and whether you believe love can truly cross borders. Your words matter more than you think. In the quiet moments, when the world finally fell silent, they understood the truth. Love was never about proving anything to others. It was about choosing each other every day, despite fear, despite difference, despite the long road. Their marriage did not change the world overnight, but it changed their world completely. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of a love worth fighting for, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep real, meaningful stories alive. Because somewhere, someone is standing at the edge of doubt, needing to know that love truly has no borders.